There we go.
Wala,
Okay.
wala.
There.
Yan.
Wala for a second,
Yan.
Michael.
Testing lang.
Ako naman nabigla. Kanina si Midnight.
Practice lang.
Ngayon ako,
Practice.
baka mamaya si Midnight, si Manji naman mawala ng mic. But yeah, welcome back to Day Zero. And it's time that we talk about the teams and the games in the series, the recap of MPL Season 7. Before that, balikan muna natin yung una o pangalawang episode ng Day Zero kung saan lapag tayo ng predictions for the overall standings by the end of the season. We're going to be showing that on screen. And I think, Manjin, may karapatan ka dyan na tawanan kami.
Yeah.
As you can tell, what happened in Season 7, very, very different sa predictions namin sa umpisa. Any standouts for you here, Manjin?
Yeah, I think wala naman ding bago kasi I think all of us ay hindi in-expect ang mga magiging performance ng mga teams. Honestly, meron din akong sariling predictions ko and may pagka-similar to kasi ang madalas ko ring nakikita on top ay execration. Gusto ko lang i-share ang difference nga sa atin is yung blacklist ko ay wala sa top 5 nung unang lumabas.
Saan siya sa list mo?
Bandang 6 to 10 eh. Bandang 6 to 10. Ito, ano to, di ba? Like, first, tama ba? First week?
Oo.
So, yeah. Man, I think wala tayong clue kung ano mangyayari. And this is the second season na I tried to parang assess yung mga teams bago mag-start. Pero laging nag-fail. Laging mali. Kaya ayoko na siyang gawin ever. Pero makita mo to. Like, for example, yan, yung Aura nasa 6th place. Diba? I'm seeing Aura 5th to 6. And ngayon, nasa top dog pala sila. So, talagang, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Hindi ko kayo masisisi, guys. Hindi ko kayo masisisi.
Oh, and that's what's nice again about MPL Season 7. Every week was a surprise. For 3 teams nga, yung ONIC, Bren, at saka Work, we have the rock, paper, scissors meta. But I'm seeing something here. A common theme. Bren Esports Execration Blacklist. Kaming tatlo ni Midnight and Leo, we all said, okay, sila tayo magiging top 3 by the end of the season. What do you have to say about that? Looking back, now that you see it again, Midnight, and then knowing what happened sa Season 7, what are your thoughts?
Well, honestly, yung sa Blacklist, even though kaya natin ipagyabang na alam natin na malakas sila before the season, we didn't expect that Blacklist would be this much strong, no? Yung 12-1 record nila, hindi nga parang yun yung full story kasi it could have gone 13-0 for Blacklist. Pero ang hindi ko talaga in-expect dito is yung pag-dip down ng execration. Pati na rin Bren, no? Sabihin natin na kahit nasa upper bracket si Bren, they fought for that till the end. Hindi yun yung parang easy upper bracket secured si Bren Esports. And then Work Oster Force, ito naman yung nalaglag ng lower bracket dahil nga nanalo si Bren against Omega. So again, maraming shifts, pero the thing is, ang pinaka-importante dito is yung storyline ni Blacklist, no, na even though nasa top siya ng karamihan ng listahan, iba pa yung pagiging top niya talaga. Talagang siya yung truly top tier. Oh, ayos ba yun?
Yeah.
Oh, my. The only team to
totoo.
break 30 points. And you know what? Umpisa na nga natin yung usapan with Blacklist International and how they dominated the regular season. Isang series lang ang talo nila versus Bren Esports. Manjin, now that the regular season is done, what can you say about Blacklist, pare?
Man, I think yung playoffs run nila, kailangan din nilang kabahan kahit papaano eh. Nagustuhan ko kasi na thankful sila na natalo sila ng Bren. At least kasi they know na hindi sila perfect. And may things to improve sila. And may mga games actually sila na nakikita tayo na kahit papaano natatalo ng isa. Pero umaabot lang din sa point na I think yung chemistry ay nabuo na nila and yung playstyle ay na-perfect na nila to the point na nababaliktad nila yung mga game. I think may isang game na Aldous, si Wise, yung
Wise.
pangalawang Aldous yun, or Ling ata si Wise, against NXP, na akala natin lamang na yung NXP, pero biglang blacklist pa. Ang masasabi ko lang, conclusion para dito sa blacklist is, si Bonchan siya yung scriptwriter. I think maraming scriptwriter makakapag-relate dito eh. May mga scriptwriter na nagsusulat ng script, at habang sinusulat nila yung characters, nakakaisip na sila ng actors para i-play yung role na yon. And I think naging perfect si Venus at saka si Wise sa kung paano sinusulat ni Bonchan yung playstyle na gusto niya para sa Blacklist. So yeah, perfect talaga. Wala, deserving, yun lang.
Yeah, truly. And again, Blacklist 12-1 ang record nila at the end of the regular season. That one loss against to Bren Esports. After Bren Esports nga, the games that they had after that, nung nakalaban na nila the likes of Execration, the likes of Omega, NXP, they even dropped the game. Akala natin baka magiging 2 losses na yan, but that didn't happen. And one of the reasons is nag-reinvent konti din si Wise and Blacklist International. Midnight, we were talking about it, like we've said it in the broadcast. Sobrang nakakatawa because there was a moment where si Wise got a lot of bashers. Sinabi, uy, Granger lang, alam mo, Wise, alam mo. Biglang naglabas ng Aldous pick to surprise us all. What are your thoughts about that?
Kasi ang Blacklist, ito yung tawag ko rito C2. Kasi meron silang dalawang C, no? Consistency and chemistry. So even if Blacklist pulls off anything that they want, they will just win games because of these two things. Ngayon, hindi naman natin sinasabing unbreakable, no? Si Blacklist. Even teams like Signal and LPE na unfortunately wala na sa MPL almost broke Blacklist. Pero dito mo makikita yung chemistry ng team. Maraming teams na magsasabi sa'yo na ano ba ang secret ng Blacklist International? They are just strong with playing with each other. Yun lang talaga yung timpla ni Blacklist. Talagang sila yung team na most synergized pagdating sa MPL. Pag tinignan mo lahat ng lineups, masasabi mo, Blacklist International yung pinakamataas, yung chemistry. And again, dahil nga meron sila nun, kaya nila ilabas yung mga things like Aldous, even yung Granger pa ulit nila ginagamit pero hindi ma-break. Kasi nga, andun yung chemistry. And ayan, nakikita naman sa graphics natin, 14 out of 32 games ng Blacklist International, ang Granger pick 14 times. Ilang percentage yan? Teka, quick maths.
More than 50.
That is...
basta more than 40. More than 50.
Around 67%. Diba? 67% ng games ng Blacklist, Granger. 62 pala, sorry. 62. So, ayun.
Ranger Danger.
Doon mo makikita na talagang consistent yung laro ng Blacklist and at the same time, yung chemistry talaga, yung pinakamalaking bound. It's not about the draft, although may mga nakatago ng rotation, no? Pero it's all about the chemistry of Blacklist International.
Yeah, and let's see if that chemistry will show up. We're also going to show up the Aldous win rate. 100% si Aldous sa MPL Season 7. Granted, 3 games yan. But in those 3 games, Manjin, the Aldous was difficult to stop.
Man, pag sinabi nung elementary, basta more than 2, madami na. So, given yan. Goods yang 100%. Hindi natin na-expect. Gusto nyo correct nyo ako kung tama ako, guys, no? Kasi after nung Aldous pick, may gumamit din sa ibang MPL, di ba? Or nauna yung MPL na yun.
It was EVOS SG.
EVOS SG.
Kasi alam ko nauna yung Blacklist eh. 'Di ba? Tapos yung part na dati kasi may ginagamit naman talaga yung Aldous pero binibuild sa kanya damage type. Tapos yung part na pwede naman pala nating i-armor eh. Kasi ba't pa natin gagawin ng damage? May late game damage naman tayo. Tapos kailangan lang niya mabuhay. Meron siyang shield. May enhanced mobility siya, may pantaka siya, may pang-psycho siya ng kanyang ultimate. So, yung part na na-formulate ng Blacklist yun, na ito yung mga kailangan ng Aldous para mapagana natin, ito yung mga kulang, o Eson, Venus, kayo nang bahala sa mga pagkukulang ng hero, tapos nag-itemize na lang si Wise, ibig sabihin, men, na talagang nag-evolve yung meta itself. Nag-evolve na yung pag-iisip ng players. And, yun, sobrang commendable nun para sa Blacklist. Try ko nga yung Aldous, man.
Yeah.
Naku po.
Naku po. Susubukan din ba din? But Blacklist International. Talaga, nireport mo?
Nireport ni Sir
Sad naman. But anyways, Blacklist International, they're not only breaking the code of, well, themselves on how do we get better, they're also breaking the code of the meta. They are the trendsetters for this season. But the team that did break the code of Blacklist International are the defending champions, Bren Esports. Nanalo sila laban sa Blacklist International 2-1, but it was a slow climb para sa defending champs. Yung pinakamahaba at nakaka-nervyos na warm-up sa buong history ng MPL. Pinakita ng Bren Esports. Kasi there was a time, midnight, nakala natin mag-uumpisa sila with a 0-4 record before they broke it. Against Execration, they started off the season 1-3. What are your thoughts on how Bren Esports started this season and ano yung nakita mong ginawa nila para ma-turn around yun?
Honestly, ito yung team na, again, sinabi mo na pinakamahaba yung warm-up. Nobody expected Bren to put this kind of performance. No? Pero I understand naman na galing silang bakasyon, kakagaling lang nilang M2, winning the World Championship is really a huge task. Kaya deserve talaga nila yung rest na yon. And honestly, I made some comments na medyo naging mainit. No? Pero again, perfectly understandable yung naging commitment ni Bren. And ang ginawa naman kasi ni Bren is, wala, yung natural Bren identity lang na laruin lang natin. And ako kasi, ang honest opinion ko about Bren is that kulang talaga sila sa batak nung nag-start yung regular season. Pero come week 5, no, nung nag-start yung match nila against, that was Work Oster Force. Ayan na, dyan na sila nag-pull ahead. Dyan na nagsimula yung domination talaga ni Bren Esports. After their showing against Work Oster Force, yung round 2 ng match nila, pinakita nila na, guys, umuwi na yung World Champions.
Yeah, we're finally back. And what you're seeing on screen right now is yung comparison ng week 1 to 4 and week 5 to 7 record ng Bren Esports, ending the season on a high note. Manjin, ano yung mga nakita mo sa Bren Esports? What did they improve? Or ano yung mga strats na nabalik nila kung bakit mas maganda na yung closer ng season nila?
Nagbago rin kasi para sa akin yung side lane, yung gold lane presence actually ni Doc Ribo nawala na dito yung mga sustain mages. Rather binigyan nila si Ribo ng mga mages na in some way kaya magbuhat. Best example is yung Chang'e na usong-uso din ngayon. And nasa part din, nasa dugo rin kasi ni Ribo yung pagiging carry, especially nung Aether pa siya. So may ganun ako nakitang formula sa Bren. And yeah, knowing this team, man, yung angas nitong team na to, panyinindigan nila yung angas nila I think, ang nagustuhan kong part is, aminado rin sila sa sarili nila mismo, na nagbakasyon talaga sila ng first week. Nung nagkaroon kami ng MPL Chillax, by the way, that was the parang first episode. Kausap namin yung Bren, tapos sina Few, sina Carl Tizzy, pare, inaasar-asar nila si Kuya Dax, inaasar-asar nila si Daki. Parang naglo-loki-loki na asaran sila na si Daki hindi na nagpa-practice, gumaganon-ganon sila, na insider lang. So, totoo pala yun. Nagulat ako na totoo pala at nangyari nga, halata, hindi pala. Pero nung dumating yung 4th week yan, kitang-kita mo may Chang'e pick, may Granger na, nagko-cloud na rin si Carl Tizzy. So yeah, nakakatakot pa rin yung Bren.
Yeah, and we all have to watch out for a possible playoffs Bren na makita natin sa playoffs. The playoff Bren that might potentially defend their championship and also become the second two-time champs na back-to-back rin sa MPL. But still too early to tell. And another team that made a lot of noise noong Season 7 is, of course, the former scrim partners of Bren Esports, formerly known as World Challengers, Work Oster Force. Now, a lot of comparisons between Work at saka ONIC nung Season 4. People were saying this is like ONIC, yung ONIC ng Season 4, that is what Work Oster Force is this season. But not completely. It was a bit of a bumpy road para sa Work Oster Force, but midnight, we saw glimpses of their potential na mukhang world challengers pa rin talaga ang Work Oster Force.
Yeah, and nakakatakot kasi it's true to their name. They are really contesting yung position ni Bren nung regular season. So, even though yung world champions pa rin yung nagwagi, of course, world champions, diba? Pero, ngayon, nasa position sila para i-contest again yung Bren Esports, and at the same time, do take note na yung mananalo ng MPL or yung pati yung second place ng MPL papadala natin sa MSC. So, alam mo, parang ang ganda ng storyline na yung World Challenges nagiging totoo siya kasi palapit ng palapit si Work Oster Force. And again, guys, do keep in mind na galing silang qualifiers. Napakalayo nung grind ni Work Oster Force. Ngayon nandito na sila sa playoffs and they honestly deserve it. Yeah. For the entire half of the regular season, nasa taas sila. They were even sitting at top 1. Hindi si Aura yung nakaupo doon sa trono, si Work Oster Force. So ang ganda ng storya kasi ito yung ultimate dark horse story Na pumasa sila ng MPL, maraming magaganda expectation, but of course there are doubts. Na parang sinasabi na hindi kasi qualifiers lang So nandun pa rin yung posisyon ng Work Oster Force na dinadoubt pa rin sila ng tao. And they course through the regular season saying na wala, tinitipian namin yung mga top teams.
Yung mga TP-TP plays became a signature na rin para sa Work Oster Force. Sometimes good, but then meron din mga sitwasyon na, well, it didn't end up working that well for Work Oster Force. I think this was a perfect game to show this. Manjin, ikaw nagkakas dito. Do you remember this moment? Yung TP ni Chu and then na-turn around pa ng Blacklist.
Naalala ko to. I think sinabi ko pa na tumipi pa nga. Gano'n, tumigaw pa ako Pero honestly, after nitong game, nung game kasi na to, hindi ko siya napansin kasi I was focusing on some other stuff. Yung kung sino yung tatapos. Pero nung after nung game, dun ko na-realize, shucks, nakita ko sa replay, kung hindi nag-TP dun si Chu, malamang, baka sila pa yung nakakuha ng victory. Pero magandang episode din yun para sa Work. Kasi at least natuto sila One time, kwento na naman ako no? Nakausap ko rin si Trimar. Diba? Tapos, sabi niya, ayaw niya na daw talaga mag-TP ever. Nagbago na siya. Siguro ng mga past few weeks nga, hindi na sila nag-TP. Sticker na lang, pero minsan na lang din. Iba pa rin kasi yung iba yung segundong na ibibigay nung TP. Kasi pag nag-sticker ka, pwede ka maglakad Yung TP, magsistay ka sa isang pixel, sa isang placement. So, ang dami mong segundo na nasasayang. And kaya rin siguro ayaw na nila. Sinabi niya lang sa akin na magtitipi na lang daw siya kapag tapos na. Pag sure na tapos na. Pag hindi pa, pigil daw sila lahat. Yun lang.
Parang na PTSD na rin. Pero I think it was 1 week after na dali sa TP ang Work Oster Force. Nagkaroon sila ng isang game na nakagawa sila ng TP bait play I think laban yun sa Aura kung hindi ako nagkakamali. It was Work Oster Force versus Aura and the TP plays ended up working for them. But then, I think magsaside ako with Raymore and Work there na maybe save the TP na lang for the end of the game pag sigurado naman nanalo kayo para sure ball na, para safe na yung panalo nyo. But Work Oster Force isn't the only team that had a fantastic season in the MPL. Although nasa bottom sila ng Group B top 4, definitely you can say NXP have grown up. Grabe ang improvement na pinakita ng team na to kumpara sa Season 6. We've been saying it, we've been praising NXP all throughout the season. This is not the same NXP as we saw from Season 6, as we'll show you real quickly in the group standing where they are now. And since si Manjin, ikaw yung nagcast din for Season 6 for most of the season, ano yung mga biggest improvements ng NXP para sa'yo?
Tingin ko this time, clear na yung path nila Parang clear na kung sino kung who's who. Yun yung sa part ko. Kasi nakikita ko sa NXP, 5 sila agresibo maglaro Parang, again, mahilin tulad ko pa rin sila sa X The fact na alam nila na kapag pumasok na si Yawi, sunod na yon. Parang automatic na yun. Lumilipad pa lang yung akay ni Yawi, nasa area pa lang yung Thousand Pounder, nakasunod na yung aerial strike ni James sa Esmeralda niya. Bago na yung skill ng Esmeralda. Ayos ba yun? Pero I feel na ang laki ng tulong dito na nagkaroon ng an analyst yung NXP with Zico. Kasi feeling ko gano'n yung meta ngayon Parang kailangan na talaga ng analyst ng isang team Hindi lang basta coach Kasi ang napansin ko on the part of the Aether clan is nung mga unang season, agresibo, suntok. Ngayon, may may mga formula na talaga. So sa tingin ko, yung nung pumasok si Zico nung mid through the season, doon nagkaroon ng form. yung NXP. Na si Yawi lang ang ganito, si Renny J lang ang ganito, pag hindi tayo pwede mag-marksman, okay, side lane fighter si Renny J. Mga ganon. Nakikita natin eh. So yeah, nakakatakot din ang NXP.
Yeah, and now I'd love to hear from Exort Sun Midnight na NXP was so great. Di ba naging joke yun na anak ka ni Exort? Or baliktad ba? Kasi magkamukha kayo. Or kapatid ba yun?
Oo, yung sa MVP, yung mga MVP graphics ko, ako daw si Exort. Anyway.
Oo. But yeah, NXP improved so much that early on in the season, na 2-0 nila ang Bren Esports. Midnight. Other than the things that Manjin mentioned, he gave a lot of importance to the addition of Zico and kung paano mas na-mold yung form ng NXP ngayon. Who else in NXP stepped up for the team to lead them to the fact that they made it to the playoffs again?
Honestly, for me, it wasn't more of a step up than the overhaul of the team internally. No? Pag sinabi ko overhaul, parang ni-rework kung paano ba gumagana ang NXP. By the way, si Zico, na siya, head coach. Congratulations kay Zico, no? And to the whole NXP family. But yeah, yung tingin ko kasi sa NXP is, alam mo yung parang ni-rework kung paano sila nag-ooperate. No? Ayan na nga, pumasok na yung analyst. Si Rene J, iba na rin yung klase ng laro niya. No? Hindi na ito yung mainit na ulong bata na gustong pumatay ng pumatay nung season 6. Rene J right now is one of the best gold laners when it comes to map rotation. Hands down, one of the best. Hindi dahil pogi si Rene J or anything, pero dahil kaya siya pogi kasi ganun yung ginagawa niya. And the thing is, Yawi and H2O's connection has improved a lot. Andun pa rin yung connection ng NXP. They para sa akin is sunod sila sa blacklist pagdating sa team synergy, lalo nung pumasok si James. But for the overall picture of NXP kasi, parang nagbago yung laro nila, no? Instead of the chaotic gameplay na nakita natin nung Season 6, na pwede mong ihalin tulad sa laro ng Execration na talagang chaotic gameplay, si NXP parang may order. Parang may mga times na makikita mo, ito yung ginagawa nila and you understand why they do it. Like for example, yung Exort Ruby DD play against Execration. Kasi alam nila at that time, they were really uncontestable. So, ang gagawin ng NXP is, if the system calls for it, ito yung lalaroin natin. At ang nakakatakot sa NXP, guys, yung sinabi kong statement na kapag kaya kang TikTokin ng NXP, TikTokin ka nila. They are the best mechanical out players in MPL, period. So pag sinabi kong mechanical out players, kung alam mo, ito yung existing mechanic, at kapag nakita mo na pwede ka nilang i-outplay 100% of the time, you will get outplayed.
And late into the season, naka-form din sila ng identity, somewhat of an identity of split push kings. Again, also because of a surprise split push play that they pulled off with Omega. And yeah, again, as someone who followed MPL Season 6, even if you're not a fan of NXP, it's undeniable yung improvement na pinakita nila this season. But what's also undeniable, other than NXP's improvement, is the fact that right now, one of the top teams in the league, top in Group A, Aura-PH, pare. They are on fire. Despite some role changes, JP, long-time carry, naging tank na siya. And he switched up his role. Now, to this day, some people say that it's still a bit iffy. There are still some heroes. And even si JP mismo nag-admit na meron pa mga heroes na hindi pa niya masyado napakapagana para sa sarili niya and for his team. But one of those heroes that he had a fantastic performance on, and one of the things that binaban regularly ng team ngayon ay ang Cho niya. Manjin, we were casting that game nung naglabas ng unforgettable play yung si JP on his Cho against LPE. The flicker, Jeet Kundo. What are your thoughts, kay JP ngayon, and how well is he as the tank for RPH?
Man, I feel na baka ito na nga rin actually yung maging susi para sa Aura kasi basing on their last few games, ang pinaprayo ba ng mga team against them ay si JP. Kaya nagkakaroon ng parang losses ang Aura. So ngayon, knowing Aura, ang pwede nilang gawin dito is baka pwede na naman nilang i-shuffle kasi hindi rin natin alam baka pwedeng ilagay nila muli si Raflesia. So, magandang pang psycho yon para sa team na hanggang ngayon meron eh. Kasi nakita naman natin, na inamin din mismo ni JP, di ba, sa sarili niya, na meron pa siyang mga heroes na hindi gamay. Kasi ang tagal niya nag-carry, ilang season siya nag-carry, and yung show talagang literal na kabisado niya lang. Ang ganda nun para sa aura, pero tingin ko, with their characteristics, sa darating na linggo ng playoffs, magsha-shuffle na naman. May part sa akin na, nakita nila kung ba't sila natalo eh. Parang nakita nila na, okay, binubutas yung tank department natin and aminado sila doon. So, nako, baka ganun yung gawin. Hula ko lang naman, pero lagi ko nung sinasabi, kaya nung mga last 3 weeks, aura yung nasa top ko is, nakakatakot para sa akin yung hindi mo alam sino yung maglalaro, kaysa ano yung mga heroes na lalaroin. So, yeah, that's it for me sa aura.
Midnight. Do you agree with what Manjin said that maybe in the playoffs we're still gonna see ibang version ng lineup nila? Because so far we've been seeing JP in the tank role, Raflisha and Kilowatt, sila yung nagsaswap sa XP lane. Do you think may iba pang evolution yun?
I think it could be kasi the only reason why they swapped roles with JP and Raflisha, no? Kasi nakausap si Dale. Tinanong ko siya anong meron, bakit si JP yung nagtatank. Well, gusto rin daw kasi ni JP, and at the same time, parang nakita nila na kailangan mag-iba yung dynamics ng team kasi what they were doing before was not really working for them. So nung nilagay nila si JP sa tank role, naramdaman nila daw na parang yung change effective. So I think it's still a possibility that Aura PH can experiment on. Pero one thing kasi, nung nakausap ko si Del, one thing na talagang gustong-gusto niyang na bring up is yung presence ni Benny Cutie tsaka ni Lord AD. So for me, it's not the story of Aura PH on the tank role, no? Even though malaking factor yon na yung hero ni JP nabubutas. For me kasi, it's really Lord Hades and Benny Cutie for Aura PH. Kasi dito nagre-revolve yung laro talaga ng Aura. Kung makikita nyo yung draft, it's always prioritizing Hades and Benny Cutie heroes. Even though, yun nga, limited yung hero ni JP. Willing sila i-flex on. Even Greed's hero pool, willing sila i-flex on. Basta makuha nila yung proper pacing or yung comfortable setting for these two players.
Yeah. Throughout the season, we've been saying, ang taas talaga ng contribution ni Hades at saka ni Benny Cutie to the recipe of Aura PH kung bakit sila one of the top teams in the league right now. So going up against Aura PH, it's like a game of rock, paper, and scissors. But we've also had a series of rock, paper, and scissors games between 3 teams, and that's Work, that's Bren, and this team that we're gonna be talking about now, ONIC PH. Interesting relationship between these 3. If I'm not mistaken, it's ONIC. Sometimes they'll get a win over Bren, but then Work will get a win over ONIC. Do you think this rock, paper, and scissors storyline, I guess, pwede mong tawagin with these 3 teams, do you think it's gonna come into an effect sa playoffs, Midnight?
I think it might. Kasi before, actually medyo na nga ako kay ONIC, lagi siyang part ng rock, paper, scissors. Kasi remember, back in Season 4, Season 5, ang rock, paper, scissors noon was Sunsparks, SGD, and ONIC PH. Ito yung 3 rock, paper, scissors. Now, involved na naman sila sa panibagong serya. This time around, it's Work and Bren. Now, the Bren and Work counterpart, I understand. Ang nawiweird doon ako sa totoo lang is ONIC PH somehow is able to defeat teams like Bren Esports and they lose to teams like Work Oster Force na dinudurog lang ni Bren. So, dito mo makikita na even though we have a normal power scaling or power levels of teams, kahit pa sabihin natin itong team na to mas magaling sila dito, mas magaling sila dito kasi lalabas yung sinasabi natin na clash of playstyle. So, ano din yan, totoo yan guys, hindi yan sabi-sabi lang ng mga casters na kapag sinabi ng caster na yung playstyle nito talagang kontrapelo dito, ito yung primary example niyan. Kasi Work All-Star Force is a little chaotic din pagdating sa mga skirmishes and team fights. So gusto nila, they want to fight with around timers. And si Bren Esports kasi, whenever they face against ONIC is a disciplined team. They always love establishing against teams that do not defend. And si Bren Esports kasi, they don't defend. They make you react to what they do. So ONIC PH will have a better time against Bren Esports and they will have a hard time against Work Oster Force kasi yung nature ni Bren, hindi sila nagre-react sa kung ano mang gagawin mo. So whatever ONIC PH wants, magagawa nila yon. And si Work Oster Force, wala silang pakialam din sa ginagawa mo, kaya gusto nila lumaban.
Yeah. And again, because may isang linggo yung teams na pwede sila mag-prepare para sa playoffs. Maybe, pagkabat ng playoffs, wala na yon. Baka nakita din nila na, ay, siguro kailangan natin palitan yung playstyle natin konti pag isa sa kanila. Ang katapat natin, by the way, beautiful flame shot, was shown there in the replay from Kyrie. Manjin, we've been, parang every week, pag pinapag-usapan natin yung ONIC, like behind the scenes, like let's say one of us are not, both of us were not casting, or actually with all the talents, mayroong mga weeks na nasasabi, uy, lakas ng ONIC Biglang the next day or the next week, uy, anyari sa ONIC. Ano nakikita mo sa laro ng ONIC PH kung bakit sila parang inconsistent? Kasi na-set up na ni Midnight. Merong mga weeks na natatalo nila yung teams like Bren Esports. But then other weeks where they're losing to teams that feeling natin baka matatalo ng ONIC. What's happening?
Yeah, I feel na nung mga unang parte nung MPL is they really prepared for how Bren is playing. And even though similar ang work sa Bren, marami nagsasabi, tama si Midnight may difference pa din kahit papaano Kasi for example, wala namang 3 Martizzi Uranus type ang Bren. Wala si Coco Kumbaga, si Coco na lang yung nangaano doon Si Coco lang yung pwedeng gumamit ng gangster na Uranus. Walang ganon And hindi prepared ang ONIC doon. Hindi sila prepared doon. Ang sa akin lang is siguro may mga times para dito sa side ng ONIC na ang nangyari was may times na iisa sila ng ginagawa pero may times din na nag-iisa-isa sila. No? Nandito pa ba ako? Hello? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, dito ka pa.
Hello?
Rinig ka pa. Yeah.
Wait lang.
We hear you. Okay. Napunta sa ibang dimension ata si Manjin dito. But yeah, I agree with what with what Manjin said. Merong mga moments talaga na ang ONIC there are days where sobrang in-sync sila. But then yung mga araw na sabihin natin baka natatalo sila in game, nawawala yung control nila yung communication in a way, 'di ba, Midnight?
Yeah, totoo yung tsaka totoo yung aspect na baka nga kaya natalo din yung Bren kasi they prepared for it so hard. Kasi may factor din yan yung preparation mo against team. You start changing your draft, you adjust your playstyle to adjust as to how you want to counter your enemy. So may factor din talaga yan. And I think with Work Oster Force kasi, mahirap pa sila basahin nung mga panahong nakalaban ni ONIC PH si Work Oster Force. Kasi hindi mo pa alam kung ano yung flavor talaga nila. May mga times na ginagamit nila yung lumang meta nila, yung ginagamit nila ng qualifiers. May mga times na biglang nagbabago sila ng gold lane. Biglang nagpapalit ng hero si Kosei at si Martizzi. So it's really hard to predict those kinds of teams. Kasi si Bren set in stone Alam mo na, ito lang ginagawa nila, ito lang nilalaro nila. Especially again nung first week ng Bren Esports nung medyo paslam pa sila. Bren was still finding their footing at that time. So madaling paghandaan si Bren. And si Work Oster Force on the rise, nag-iinit, and they still have a lot to to utilize pagdating sa match ni ONIC PH.
Yan. Sorry na DC,
okay,
guys. Sorry.
Okay lang na ang tagal ng Winter Truncheon mo. Saan mo ba nabibili yung Winter Truncheon?
Nag-grow ako sa player. Sana all nag-grow.
Talaga.
Ayan.
Growth is very important for teams in the MPL to improve every season. But there's one team that in a way has grown, but in a way parang, tumatanda na ba? Is there something up with this team? And I'm thinking about Omega. Sobrang night and day yung comparison ng Omega Season 6 with what we're seeing from Omega Season 7. Hands down, they are still some of the best mechanically skilled players. Pero Manjin, iba yung pakiramdam ng Omega ngayon. Hello?
Nag-Winter Truncheon na naman si Manjin.
Nag-Winter Truncheon na naman.
Ako nasasunod.
Okay, sige, Midnight.
Habang nag-grow as a player si Manjin. I think with Omega, may factor dito nung yung tagal na naglalaro. Even though sabihin na natin yung pagtanda. Pero it's mostly the duration of your playing time. Again, similar sila sa pwesto ni Bren, no. Ayan, mga kids pa sila, fresh na fresh. Nung nag-M2 bumalik, syempre medyo pagod na yung 5 players ng S7. Si Wynat at si Hit na lang yung fresh. But yeah, when they played M2 after that, ito medyo insider to, hindi kasi sila masyado nakapagpahinga din. Kasi there's a little there's a small time for them to actually utilize after nilang makauwi ng Pilipinas, no? I think around 3 weeks lang before MPL Season 7 started. So may factor din talaga na hindi fresh yung Omega, no, na maraming bagay na nakakalimutan na, maraming mga hindi na nababrush up kasi primary example niyan no, na-split po sila ng NXP. That is really fundamental. That is a really fundamental aspect of your gameplay, of your gameplay, no. Whenever you want to take Lord, you look at the minimap, na-split po siyang kaba. And hindi siya situational lang, hindi siya isolated case. Remember, this happened with NXP and this happened with LPE. No, na-split po sila 2 beses. So again, factor ito yung duration ng paglalaro nila. May mga times na hindi na nila naaalala yung ibang bagay kasi medyo parang alam mo grumpy na kailangan nila ng pahinga, kailangan nila ng breather. And I think etong players naman, nakuha naman nila yung breather kasi medyo makakahinga sila ngayon even though practice season, at least 'di ba? Hindi sila nasa harsh environment ng professional setting.
Man, Omega this season has been surprising. Yes, nakaabot naman sila sa upper bracket. So, that's good news for Omega fans. Pero definitely you can say iba yung Omega ngayon kumpara sa season 6. And no, hindi ko sinasabi na matanda si Why Not. That's not what I meant, but what I said earlier. But yeah, man, Gene, your thoughts on Omega this season?
Kasi parang pwede mo naman sabihin kasi tanggap naman ni Kuya Why Not yun eh. Hindi naman.
Hindi ko sinasabi.
Oo naman. Same. I think ramdam ko yung fatigue factor for Omega Esports. M2 was a tragic loss. Diba? Pero nung pagpasok kasi nila, parang immediate na pag-adjust. Kasi magbabago sila ng coaching, parang coaching staff. So doon pa lang alam mo na imposible na in 1 week makakapag-adapt tayo kagad ng mabilis. Kahit gaano tayo kagaling. And the fact na hindi sila nagpalit ng roster, may mga part na alam ng mga teams, especially ng mga dati nilang kalaban, kung ano yung mga kahinaan nila, kung paano sila tinatalo talaga. So, yeah, I think tama si Midnight with this playoffs break. Sana magamit nila to bilang paghinga talaga. Actually, nakausap ko rin sila. Lahat na lang nakakausap ko, no? Ayan. I think that was last night na sinubukan nilang lumabas as a team.
Talaga?
So, yeah. Sinubukan nilang mag-unwind. Ayan. So, hopefully, makakita tayo ng somewhat na magandang laro para sa kanila. Itong interesting though. This is Aura versus Omega. So Omega, they're going up against their former coach na si Coach Ding.
Oh, yeah.
So nako, man, like wala, gets na natin kung anong pwedeng mangyari. Medyo basahan ng strategy yan.
Wala, lamang si Aura dyan, kilala niya si Omega eh.
We'll see. Baka yung break nung Omega is what they needed, and I agree with hinanap ko yung comment pa yun. May nag-comment na sabi niya, sabi dito na Excalibur, pero gusto ko yung hero pool na pinakita ni Wanat. Interesting interesting mix na pinakita ng Omega throughout the season. At one point nga, pinaupo muna si Heath and then Hayes yung naging main tank. So, let's see what else Omega has in store for potentially, baka makakomeback ulit sila sa finals. With that being done, for now, we're gonna be talking about the 2 teams that sadly hindi nakaabot sa playoffs. That's gonna be Signal and LPE. Of course, Signal, a lot of people were rooting for them after, because of matters that they cannot control. Signal Ultra had to start playing nung week 3 ba yun or week 2? Sila nag-umpisa. They missed the first part of the season. LPE on the other hand, as well, there was a moment na akala natin, baka makapasok pa talaga sila sa playoffs. But then, that goal was taken away from them. They weren't able to make it. I want to use this time to highlight the players of these 2 teams because we've already, ang dami mo na masasabi sa performance nila as a team. Highlight naman natin yung mga players that has to be highlighted. Let's start with Ryota of LPE. Manjin, what do you have to say about this player?
Man, nasa pangalan niya mismo, Ryota. Sabi niya, talaga yan inspired from Slam Dunks, Ryota. One of the playmakers para dito sa LPE. Outstanding Benedetta plays. Yung mga flank niya dito, yung nanatili sa akin eh. Yung kapag may biglaang clash, bigla na lang siya lilikod. Actually, napag-usapan niya rin namin na, I think sa, namin tuwing nagda-drive kami, ni na Rob, na si Rob nagsabi nito na feeling niya kung magkakaroon ng reshuffle, yung mga teams, madaming nakatingin kay Ryota. So, yeah, yun lang masasabi ko.
Yeah, playmaker with the Benedetta from the XP lane, but you cannot deny the playmaking ability of BMO. The man in the front lines para sa LPE had that unforgettable Grok play, an experienced player here in the MPL. Para sa Midnight, ano yung best quality ni BMO for LPE?
Honestly, this is gonna sound cliche, no? Pero yung veteran experience, there were a lot of moves that BMO made in MPL na pag tinignan mo, uy, ang galing niya. Pero pag inisip mo mabuti, he was literally unstoppable at that time. Kasi nga, yung mga ginagamit niyang heroes, like for example, Grok. Pag ginawa niya to, literal kasi walang pipigil sa kanya. So, alam mo yung parang, yung level of understanding nitong taong to, na-abuse niya. And it comes to a point na kapag may ginagawa siyang play, it means walang pipigil sa kanya sa paggawa ng play na yun. That's why, it felt like whenever BMO had his hands on the Grok, LPE was looking the strongest alongside Arvis Luoyi. But yeah, BMO all 100% of the time, kapag may nakikita siyang play, parang siyang NXP din, no? Pero hindi essentially mechanical outplay. It's just the nature of the hero. Kung ano yung ginagawa ng hero, pag gusto niyang gawin, pag nakita niyang pwede, 100% gagawin niya yun. So, parang si BMO dito yung pinaka-consistent when it comes to that, no? Sa team na LPE, no? Whenever there's a play available for his hero, he will make that play. Diyan lumalabas yung yung experience itong taong to.
Yeah, BMO, again, a lot of unforgettable plays. Another player from LPE who had unforgettable moments. There were times na siya yung naging late game hero for the team. Their gold laner, JTD, or Jake the Dog. Ba't naging JTG? Jake the Goat.
Binaliktad na yung dog. Binaliktad na yung dog,
Jake the Gog. Jake the Gog.
Jake the God. Gog.
Yeah, Jake the God.
But yeah, JTD, man, one of the a really strong player for LPE rin. Ano yung mga highlights ni JTD para sa iyo, Manjin? What did he do right for LPE?
Man, sobrang commendable yung kanyang Harit and Claude dito. Actually, para sa akin, maihalin tulad ko siya sa Renny J Season 6. Season 6 na. Kasi parang parang meron lang kayong mga specific na kailangan puntahan sa kanya na hero, depende sa mangyayari. And yeah, he's doing his part. May mga times na may mga Uranus. Ang nagiging dilemma lang sa tingin ko sa LPE is basa eh. Parang for example, pag Uranus siya, nagkakaroon ng games na alam na kung kailan mangyayari na siya lang mag-isa, tapos aabangan siya doon. May gano'n eh. May nangyaring gano'n eh. 3 beses eh na...
Alright, there. We're back.
You were saying? Lahat tayo nag-winter dungeon.
Wala eh. Sabi ko, parang masarap mag-grow
Oo. So, ang ibig ko sabihin dito is, siguro kung na-work on ng LPE yung mga ganong plays, like, gulang na kasi yun eh. Gulang plays na yun eh, na, eto kunya, mag-split push tayo pero hindi natin papahalata na mag-split tayo. Yun, pag na-work on yun, men, yung gulang, yun yung mga bagay I think na kapag kasali ka lang sa MPL, doon mo matututunan. So baka matutunan nila in the next few seasons na pwedeng makasali pa sila.
Let's see if LPE can make a comeback for Season 8. Good luck to them in their journey back into the MPL if it will happen. Now, from LPE, we're good. We're gonna move on to the side of Signal Ultra naman. I-focus natin yung isang flex role. Naging flex role siya at the middle of the season. Si Aquaboy for Signal Ultra at one point gold laner. Pero minsan pinapa-jungle din si Aquaboy. Para sa yung Midnight, san mas okay si Aquaboy? Sa jungle or sa gold lane?
Honestly, it depends on the team. Kasi ito yung position niya rin nung nasa blacklist pa siya, no. He was playing the jungler before, tapos nirelegate siya to the side lane. So I feel like komportable talaga siya dito. Komportable siya sa ganitong klaseng setup. And I think it's a good combination for Signal Ultra na nakakapagpalit si Janus and si Ako Boy. And ang comment ko lang kasi kay Ako Boy is he just needs to find a good team. No, I'm not saying that Signal Ultra is not a good team. They're actually a good team. Pero if he finds a team that he can fit in, kasi ang naging problem ni Signal Ultra is again, game-ending plays, wala sila masyadong shot call. So if he finds that team, makikita natin yung excellence talaga ni Ako Boy. Kasi feeling ko si Ako Boy yung type ng player na yung mas gusto niya lang kinokoman siya or nananahimik siya. Para lang ma-make sure na alam mo, na maintain niya yung quality ng performance niya.
Yeah. We wish the best to Aqua Boy and of course all the players of Signal Ultra as well. Kekedot was a standout rin para sa Signal Ultra. One of the many players, kasabay si Ben Sanity and si Imba DJ, na laging nagsiswitch ng roles. Naging jack of all trades na si Kekedot for Signal Ultra. What were the things that stood out for you, Manjin, para sa performance niya?
Yung kanyang show. Ewan ko bang freestyle show ba yung tawag doon eh. Pero yung kanyang mga explosive na show pick, I think yung nag-stood out sa akin. I think ang pwede kasing ang naging dilemma dito ni Kekedot is MPL teams kasi to eh. I mean, siguro sa mga ibang outside tournaments. Tama no? First MPL ni Kekedot, 'di ba?
Yeah.
'Di ba?
Yeah.
So, itong mga teams kahit na gaano ka-explosive, I mean, sobrang commendable yung pagiging explosive ni Kekedot. Siya nga ay laging tinitignan ng mata ko pag nagkakas ako kasi talagang explosive. Pero meron talagang meron talagang mga spider senses din yung ibang teams eh. Specifically nung kalaban nila si Greed sa Aura.
Yeah.
Yung Winter Troncho na nag-grow as a player si Greed. So, yun doon mo nakita na Kuya Kex, na ako matagal na ako sa MPL, alam kong papasok ka na eh. Parang nangyari yun eh. Game-winning pick-off. So siguro, yun, again, gulang factor. Parang yun nangyari din sa LPE. Ito naman in terms of plays. 'Di ba? Marami sa MPL na players na hindi na basta-basta nagagangster. 'Di ba? Yun yung pagkakaiba eh, 'di ba? Yun yung pagkakaiba. Ikaw pag naglalaro ka ng ranked games, for sure magugulat ka, may mga nanggagangster sa'yo tapos hindi mo kaya tapatan. Pero pag nasa pro ka na talaga, like makikita mo tatapatan ka nila and nagkakaroon lang ng mga butas dito na na-outplay yung mga explosiveness ni Kuya Kex. 'Di ba? Sayang, ang ganda sana ng mga movements. Sayang, talagang na lang, outgulang. Yung kay Grid talaga, di ko makalimutan 'yun.
Yung Winter Troncho nagsalina siya. Kala na nga ng Signal mapipick off sa Greed, but then dun nanalong ONIC. Who could forget that? That was it's a perfect example na mention mo yung mga teams sa MPL iba eh. Spider sense, ika nga sa sinabi mo. That's perfectly put. But Aqua Boy and Kekedot, there aren't only two members of Signal Ultra we want to highlight. Last but definitely not the least, yung carry ng Signal Ultra, Janus, has had games where wow! Talaga tayo, especially pag nabigyan mo siya ng assassin hero. Pinakita niya na he can also play a really, really good Lancelot, just like Carl TZ, just like the best Lancelots we have in the league. Ano yung pinaka-redeeming quality ni Janus para sa'yo, Midnight?
For me, Janus, actually ito, hindi sa akin galing to, no? Nanggaling to sa isang coach na nakausap ko. Sabi nga na rin, Mar, you can really compare him to the likes of Carl TZ. Actually, before Carl TZ was known as the best Lancelot player, it was Janus. No? Sa amateur scene, kilala siya na siya ang pinakamagaling na mag-Lancelot dun sa pool na yon. And up to this day, nire-respeto ng mga players yung Lancelot ni Janus. So again, he is a really good assassin player. He finds pick-offs where, you know, when you're just watching the game, parang inisip mo na, hindi pwedeng mamatay to. He finds those na parang, kaya kitang patayin. Ganon. Alam mo yung killer instinct ni Janus napakataas. And yun yung comment ko sa kanya. Sa sobrang taas ng killer instinct, this was actually true din with Carl TZ when he was still under SGD. Na yung mga players kasi na tulad ni Janus, kapag sobrang taas ng killer instinct, walang walang cap. Pag gusto nila patayin yung player na yun, even if the kill doesn't mean anything to you, they will go for that. So ang kulang kay Janus is control. Pero if you put him in a team, same with Akoboy, no? If you put him in a team na kayang kontrolin yung aspect na yun or kayang sumabay sa kanya to make sense of the killer instinct ni Janus, then ma-activate mo lalo si Janus. Kasi my comments with Signal Ultra is, for the longest time, hindi nila kayang sabayan yung movements ng isa't isa. So si Janus yung primary suspect of that. Kasi kapag may nakikita si Janus, gusto niyang gawin yung kampi niya, kailangan pa ng oras para makapag-react. And in turn, kapag yung kampi niya din may gustong ibang gawin, si Janus may iba rin gustong gawin. So parang may disconnect, may certain disconnect. May certain level of disconnect ang Signal Ultra. But yeah, for me, Janus, he is a really good player, mechanically equipped to face these players, pero kulang pa sa experience at kulang pa sa refinement. Kailangan niya yung pipigil sa kanya na, uy pare, wag tayo dyan. Walang kwenta yung kill na yan.
Yeah, hopefully they can get more experience in the future. Again, thank you to LPE and Signal Ultra, their entire organization, for being able to give us some good showings as well sa MPL. Good luck sa inyong lahat for your future endeavors. Hopefully, maybe you guys can find a way back to the MPL one way or another. But after everything that happened in Season 7, let's get to the bottom line. Ito ang final standings at the end of the season. I'll be showing that to you on screen there. Top of the league, ang Blacklist International. 32 points, 12-1 win-loss, 92% match win rate. Sinabi na nga namin kanina, we did not expect them to be this good and the top dogs of the league. Or a PH, a lot of us saw them being as a middle of the table team, maybe close to top 4, top 5, ganun. But they're the second best team in the league in terms of the wins and the points that they gathered. After a slow start, the world champions and defending champs, Bren Esports, at the end of Season 7, nasa huling araw ng Season 7, dun sila nakapasok sa upper bracket in their group. It's been a memorable season. Looking back real quick, I just want to ask you first, Manjin, ano yung MPL Season 7 moment para sa'yo? Na pag inisip mo ang Season 7, yun yung unang moment na naalala mo.
May ang dami. Ang dami.
Okay.
Ang daming comeback games eh. Oh my,
So yung mga comeback games?
Yung mga comeback games, yung sa dami ng comeback games, hindi ko na rin mahala yung mga comeback games. yung mga siguro may mga mini plays na hindi ko makakalimutan. Yung Kyrie Flame Shot, Lightning Trontion, yung Renjo Pacquiao. Renjo Pacquiao sa Lord din. Yung grid outplay. At saka yung split push ng yung mag-isa lang yung hindi yung sa LPE yung Aura.
Yung Aura versus Bren, yung Minion.
Aura Bren, oo.
Yung Aura, yung Minion
si
pa
Minion
yung panalo sa Bren. Oo, si Win Teasy. Oo. Yun. Ang daming comeback games, hindi ko talaga maalala lahat din eh.
Okay, so para kay Manjin yung mga comeback moments, ikaw naman Midnight, ano yung mga unforgettable Season 7 moments para sa'yo?
Ako, when NXP was facing the brink of defeat and a slaughter at that, no, yung match nila against LPE, after a grueling Game 1, Rene J came in. Wala siya sa bootcamp. Sabi lang niya, Boss Dogs palaroin mo ako, naglaro siya. And they turned it around. They got a 2-1 win against LP. Hindi ko makakalimutan yon. And secondly, ito mga NXP moments to, hindi ko makalimutan kasi I didn't expect those from NXP. So yung split push nila kay Omega, nakakita ko ng systematic gameplay from NXP kasi for the longest time, alam na mga tao to, I criticize teams like Bren, Execration, and NXP for the lack of discipline and for the lack of system. And nung nakita ko noon, in-split push yan ni NXP si Omega, suddenly nakita ko yung sistema ng laro ng NXP, no. They were basically just baiting the Lord kasi may nag-split push. Yun yung di napansin ni Omega. Kasi and I feel like it's not fully Omega's fault. Kasi again, you would not expect that from teams like NXP. And they did. So, hindi ko siya makalimutan kasi this marks the change for Rene Chang eh. This marks the change for NXP. Eto papasok yung playoffs, ibang-iba ang itsura ni NXP. So, kabahan si Work Oster Force kasi siya siya unang tigim, no? Siya yung lab rat ni NXP.
Now, we've shared, or Manjin and Midnight, they've shared their most unforgettable moments. Comment naman kayo dyan sa comment section natin kung ano yung pinaka-unforgettable moments para sa inyo throughout Season 7. It was a long season, but it's not over yet. Again, the playoffs is coming around the corner. And when we come back from a really quick break, we're going to be talking with two coaches. Teaser na lang yun. Stick around to find out who those two coaches are to let us know or para malaman natin kung ano yung mindset nila going into the playoffs. Again, my name is Reptar. Kasama ko dito si Manjin and Midnight. Pagbabalik, Leo is gonna come join us along with some special messages from the coaches as well. Thank you so far. Thank you for joining us. Don't go anywhere. Day Zero will be right back.
If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving us a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook via the link in the description. Thanks.